The fishing kayak I'm about to show you is pretty cool. It's the new Vibe Hydra 130, and the reason it's pretty cool is because I helped design it. Now, before we take a closer look, we need to have a little talk about why we've created a new fishing kayak with Vibe. For the last 10 years, I've worked at Cornwall Canoes, a specialist kayak fishing store here in the UK, and I get to sell some of the coolest fishing kayaks out there. And over the last 10 years, lots has changed in the kayak fishing world. It's become a lot more popular. There's a lot more brands offering a lot more models for the angler. However, we've seen a big shift away from craft, which are designed to paddle well and can be fished from, towards wider, high capacity, more stable craft that offer loads of comfort, loads of stability, endless customization options, but not necessarily that great at paddling for cutting through the water, which makes them not so great for those of us who want to be out there fishing on the coast or on large open waters, where we might have to contend with tidal currents, windy conditions, choppiness on the surface and ocean swells. We need a kayak that's going to cut through the water well and efficiently so that we can enjoy fishing out there in those conditions, not feel like we're battling all the time. So over the last 10 years, lots of manufacturers have moved away from that type of design and gone to wider, more stable kayaks and completely discontinued their models that were well known for being great coastal fishing kayaks. It's left very limited options out there on the market for those, well, especially first-time kayak anglers getting into the sport, wanting a good paddling fishing kayak for saltwater fishing. So yeah, we've gone back to the drawing board. Over the last 18 months, we've come up with something that we think is pretty cool. It offers a kayak that is going to paddle well in general coastal saltwater conditions, be it inshore or perhaps offshore in nicer conditions, but with loads of features and all the sort of modern customization options as well. So yeah, the new Vibe Hydra 130, a great option if you're looking for your first saltwater fishing kayak. So let's dive in, take a look and see what this kayak's all about. So here we go, the Vibe Hydra 130. This one pretty cool fishing kayak, designed for coastal fishing and comes in at a length of 13 foot 3 inches, just over 4 meters, with a width of 29 inches, which is about 74 centimeters. And that's a sweet combination to perform well in terms of forward speed, in terms of straight line tracking, and glide through the water. You know, this carries a nice amount of speed, and that's what you want for a kayak that's going to perform well on the coast and when you may need to paddle a bit of distance. This kayak itself, it's going to cruise at, well, between 3.5 to 4 knots, which is comfortable. If you've got a little bit of tide against you, a little bit of wind against you, you need that bit of speed to be able to, well, get you home without it being a complete slog and a complete effort, which wider kayaks can often feel like. It can often feel like you're paddling a barge. And the safety implications as well. You know, some of these big wide kayaks, if you're struggling to paddle against the wind or tide and you're not making headway, you could end up in trouble. So if you're heading out there on the coast and you know you may be dealing with these conditions, it's really handy to have a kayak that's going to cope with those conditions well. And yeah, Vibe Hydra 130 offers that sweet combination in terms of its length and width to, and its, well, its general hull shape to actually cut through the water well and perform well out there on the coast. In terms of stability, despite it being what would be considered a narrower, sleeker kayak, it still retains a great amount of stability, and that's due to its lowered seating position, lowering your centre of gravity to the waterline, and that greatly helps with the feeling of stability, particularly if it's a bit bumpy and a bit choppy out there on the water. That lowered seating position, that makes you feel really comfortable out there, so you can sit out there, carry on fishing without feeling like you're going to be chucked over the side. In terms of its carrying capacity, its maximum stated capacity is 440 pounds, about 200 kilos. Now that's not the recommended paddler capacity. You want to be well under that, to be honest, to still retain the performance in the hull. You don't want to go loading it to its limits because it's going to stop performing for you. So I would recommend this kayak performing well for someone up to around 17, 18 stones, around up to about 250 pounds in weight. And that allows the kayak to still retain a good amount of capacity for your gear, your fishing gear, perhaps your catch as well, and yeah, still allow it to perform for you, so you're not working at its sort of upper limits. In terms of the weight of the actual kayak, I think Vibe state this at 34 kilos. I think that's just about 78 pounds, something like that. But yeah, it just offers a great combination, great hull shape, nice length, relatively sleek beam in terms of width, that's going to allow it to perform well out there on the saltwater in typical coastal conditions. And we've loaded it up with some really nice features to make it super easy to accessorize and customize with the likes of fish finders, crates, flags, camera poles, rod holders, and more. So let's take a closer look at all these features, the general design of the kayak. Let's have a look at why the Vibe Hydra 130 is a great option if you're looking for your first fishing kayak for fishing out there on saltwater. Starting at the bow of the Hydra 130, we can really see why this kayak is designed for coping with coastal waters. Just look how sharp and sleek that bow is, and it has plenty of what we call bow flare. Now see that curvature there at the front as the bow flares up. What that does, it allows the bow to ride up over choppy, bumpy waters and still maintain its forward speed. So yeah, that flared bow is exactly what you want for paddling out there on coastal waters. And yeah, the Hydra has that beautiful, sleek, sharp, flared bow exactly for that reason. If I look end on, we can see, yeah, pretty sharp, nice defined keel to the bow. Just going to allow it to cut through and track nice and straight. And I'll have a little talk about the underside shape when I flip the kayak over in a moment. But yeah, that flared, sharp, sleek bow, perfect paddling out there on coastal waters. Now, on the top, at the very tip of the nose, we do have a drain bung. So should you get a build-up of water on the inside, you can easily open that up at the end of the day and drain any water out. Quite handy when it's on your car or van roof upside down. You can just open that and any water build-up will just trickle out on your journey home. And that's just a simple screw drain bung. We've got a nice front carry handle. It's the Vibe Phantom grip handle. Yeah, good amount of grip. It's like rubberized under surface to the handle, so you can really get a good grip on that handle. Great if you've got to trolley it to and from the water. Good sturdy grab point. And below the handle, the moulding's recessed, so you can easily get your hand under there and not get trapped. Moving a little further back, we've got a couple of little rubber flaps which cover over the bow and cover over a couple of sort of recessed grooves in the bow with some bungee here as well. Now these are rod tip protectors. If you've got to launch or land through surf where there is a risk that you may, turn the kayak over, you may get thrown out the kayak. If your rods are stuck straight up in the air, there is a risk you could go snapping something. So if you know you're in for a rough launch or landing, it's worth laying your rods flat by shoving your rod tips under this bungee, under these flaps to keep them down low to the hull, and you can sort of clip the rod butts down further back as well, so that should you roll the kayak in the surf, at least you're not going to go snapping your tips. So yeah, handy little feature there that some people may be able to make use of. Further back we come to a large oval hatch and nice easy click seal open, hinge design, opens up to a hatch bag. So as standard, comes with a hatch bag. You can store your gear within this bag to keep it raised off the hull, to keep your gear dry in there. But personally, I prefer to remove these, take them out completely, and it opens up completely to the hull of the kayak. And that allows you to easily store in there a fold-up trolley, such as the popular Railblazer Sea Tug. And all versions of the Sea Tug will fit in here, including the standard Sea Tugs, the Sandtrack Sea Tugs, and also the Sea Tug R, trolleys, the newer Sea Tug Rs, they will all break down and fit inside this hatch, no problem, with a bit of room to spare as well. So yeah, nice large oval hatch for storage, nice easy click seal lock and mechanism there, so it's nice and easy to access. And the hatch itself, it's within a sort of molded recess in the kayak with channels running to the edge, so if you're smashing through choppy waters, you're getting water over the bow, it's not going to pull up in this area. It's got escape channels where it can run off the bow. Another nice little feature, particularly for paddling out there in choppy waters. Moving slightly further back, we come to some nice big flat areas just before we get to the footwell of the kayak. Quite handy if you want to bolt on any accessories there. If we just move a little further back, we come to a raised platform here in the hull with 4 moulded in brass inserts. They're threaded inserts. They take an M6 bolt, and the spacing configuration allows you to easily install there one of the Railblazer Starport HDs or any of the Scotty mounts or other accessory mounts that have that standard rectangular configuration there. So yeah, really handy if you want to bolt a Starport HD there and have a camera boom, or I have a rod rest running off the top here. You could even put a fish finder up here. But yeah, handy accessory mount there to make it nice and easy to add stuff to. A little further back, we come to a scupper hole right through the centre here. And that leads down to a transducer recess cavity beneath, making it super easy to add a fish finder to this kayak. I'll take a closer look at that when we turn the kayak over. But yeah, moving further back, we come to the main footwell. And right in the middle here, down the centre of the footwell, we have the Vibe Versa console. It's a tackle console, allows you to add all your fishing tackle right in front of you and store it nice and easily. But it also includes some tracks built into the top surface for accessory mounting. Again, you might want your fish finder here, might want a cup holder, or any other of the T-track accessories that you can get for kayaks will easily fit to the console lid here. On the surface of the console, at the very front, nearest the seat, see a little magnet sign there. Behind the plastic here, there's a magnet. That's pretty cool. It allows you to chuck your hooks, your lures, your jigs, your scissors, or pliers there, and they'll just stick to this area, so they won't go rolling off or going anywhere. You can just keep them in this area. Quite a handy little feature. And there's also 2 little flip-up storage hatches. So they open up. There's a little hatch bag inside here, a little square hatch. Again, really handy for just chucking your lures in there, maybe some weights, your jigs, or even a small set of pliers or scissors. Just keeping them nice and secure right in front of you, easy to access. Yeah, it's 2 of those on the top of the Versa console there, and they're just accessed with little latches here. Dead easy to use. Bit of bungee on top as well. You might want to bungee your scissors to the top. There's also a cup holder here as well. But this whole Versa console can be opened up as well. So there's some clips here, 4 clips on the side. If we just undo the front 2, let's just undo the front 2 and hinge that open. Opens up to a moulded storage area beneath. That runs right back. Perfect for storing little tackle boxes right there in front of you, so you've got easy access to them whilst you're on the water. And yeah, sealed off from the main rest of the hull, so should you be getting a bit of waves splashing over the side, perhaps get a little bit of water in there, you don't need to worry too much because it's not actually going to get into the main kayak itself. Yeah, there's a rubber seal that runs around the top lip to help keep the worst of any rogue waves that may splash over the kayak whilst you're fishing out of that area, to help keep your tackle dry. But yeah, they just clip in place there. The back ones can be unclipped as well if you wanted to hinge it or completely take it off there as well. So yeah, really nice Versa console, really handy for storing all your tackle right in front of you. The footwells themselves, we've got adjustable footrests here. These are the Vibe free flow footrests. They're sliding footrests because they operate the rudder at the back of this kayak, which we'll take a look at in a moment. But they can easily be adjusted to suit users of different heights. I'm 6'2" myself, and there's plenty of room in here for me to still allow the pedals to slide and operate the rudder controls. I expect someone a little bit taller again will be able to use this just fine. Yeah, nice big firm footrests, nice large pad there to brace your foot against, and to adjust these sort of fore and aft. It's all off a mechanism just behind the footrest itself. See here sort of a wheel here with the rudder lines wrapped around it. If you're a little bit shorter, you can just press this grey tab at the back and it sort of disengages this wheel and allows you to spin it. You see me spinning it there. And you just retension it to the position that you need it at in the kayak. Or you can loosen it off and let it slacken it out to sort of lengthen the leg length in this kayak. But yeah, nice and handy that you can adjust it all from there. So even if you were fishing and found you just needed to make a small tweak, just reach forward, just adjust this wheel here, retension it exactly where you need so you get it sweet for operating your rudder. But yeah, sliding footrest there. You can lock them in position. Say if you didn't want to use the rudder, there's an orange tab here on the outside. If you click that in place, it engages a pin at the back here which locks into the footrest rail. So now it's in position, can't be moved. So if you didn't want to use the rudder and just fancied paddling without a rudder, you can lock these braces up so you can paddle efficiently without footrest sliding. And yeah, just to release it, you just pull it away and it disengages the pin to make it slide again. And yeah, to operate the rudder, you just literally push your foot, and you can see the other side moving closer as this one moves away. As it's doing that, it's operating the rudder at the back. We'll have a quick look at the rudder because we got the rudder lines running back along the footrests here into rudder tubing in the kayak, and that goes all the way inside the hull to the back here where it exits and attaches to the Vibe rudder there. That's a really nice rudder. It's easy to uphaul and downhaul, all operated beside the seat here from this cord here. So if I just clip this out of this little clip that's holding it on the side, you can see there's a cleat fitted to the side of the kayak. If I pull that out, the cleat, and pull this cord, you can just see the rudder raised up there. And I'll lower it again there. So let go and it drops down. So dead easy to deploy and haul back up, all from this cord which is located right beside the seat. And it hooks into this little clip here so that it can just hang over the side of the kayak. It's within easy access to grab and pull when you need to pull it, uphaul that rudder for when you're launching or landing. Dead easy to deploy when you need it. Yeah, that just clips in there, nice and easy. And yeah, as I slide those footrests, you can see the rudder just moving there. But rudder's a brilliant addition to kayaks. They allow you to continue paddling as if you were paddling in a straight line with full efficiency, even if the conditions are trying to push you off course, because you can just sort of trim the rudder one way or the other and continue paddling full power without having to feel like you need to paddle on one side to keep the craft continuing in its, the course that you want it to maintain. So really handy for paddling in windy conditions. They really improve the performance of a kayak in windy conditions and allow you to get the most out of it. But yeah, the Vibe rudder there fitted to this kayak as standard. That's just what you want for paddling out there on the coast where you might be contending with windier conditions or tidal currents which are trying to push you off course. With that rudder, you can battle them without worry and maintain all the efficiency of the kayak. Another cool feature of the Hydra 130 is that the rudder blade can easily accept one of the Bixby electric motors. If we take a look at the base of the blade here, we can see some bolts running through. If you undo those, this cap drops away and it reveals the 4-hole mounting point for one of the Bixby electric motors, and their latest K1 motor system that can easily attach to the base of the blade. Allows you to really easily motorize your Hydra 130. Really great if you want to just add that extra bit of power to the kayak or have it as a backup when you're out there on the water. Yeah, really nice, neat feature that you can easily motorize this kayak. So yeah, that's the Vibe rudder system there, all controlled from those free flow footrests. The actual floor of the footwells, it's lined with some nice EVA foam, provides some grip under your foot there. Also some sound dampening as well if you're banging your feet about in here. But yeah, just a nice little touch. Another thing I'll point out here are the scupper holes. At the minute, they've got the scupper bungs in and they come as standard. A full set of scupper bungs come as standard with this kayak. But yeah, there's a number of scupper holes located throughout the footwell, the seat well and the tank well of the kayak. They allow water to automatically drain from the deck should you get any splash over the side. So I like to paddle without any bungs in. This is a coastal kayak. You're bound to get a few waves come over every now and then. You want that water to be able to drain away without pooling up. So I like to take the bungs out, leave them open, and you can paddle without worry in case a wave comes over. You know it's going to drain away. But it is nice that it comes with a full set of scupper bungs, because if you are paddling on very flat water and you know there's not going to be any water coming over the side, you can bung them up, keep this area completely dry if you wanted to. A little further back, we come to some flush mount rod holders. So we've got two forward facing flush mount rod holders, one either side here. Really handy for placing your rods in there whilst you're fishing. You might be trolling a lure behind the kayak. You can just keep the rod holders there, and there's just enough distance between you and the rod holder where you can continue to paddle without clattering into the rod all the time. But also handy for if you're at anchor bait fishing, you can just stick two rods out and your rods will be down tied. So yeah, really nice. Even for when you're setting up, tackling up, baiting up, you can just pop them in there. They're right in front of you, easy to grab when you need. So yeah, two flush mounted rod holders in front of you. Little pad eye fitted here. Nice little addition to be able to clip, say, a leash to, a rod leash. You can clip it right there in front of the rod holder. Running along the front of the footwell, or the side of the footwell, sorry, is a slide track. So these are center loading slide tracks. There's a wider section here at the middle where you can slide in T-track accessories. So these tracks will accept all of the T-track accessories from the popular accessory brands such as Railblazer with their track loader star ports or side ports, their mini port track mount. The Ram mounts, T-track accessories, they all fit in here. The Scotty accessories do. The Yak Attack accessories do as well as I'm sure there's plenty of other brands out there offering T-track accessories which will fit these fairly standard slide tracks. But yeah, nice long lengths fit either side of the footwell. Great for adding rod holders, camera mounts and other accessories right alongside the kayak there. At the central position of the kayak, we've got a couple more carry handles, Vibe Phantom handles. And yeah, a nice amount of space behind to, again, grip these really well at the center position. If you've got to lift this up over your head to get it on your car roof rack, two good sturdy grab points right at the center weight, allows you to get a firm grip and lift that kayak up. Moving further back, we come to the seating area, fitted as standard with the flex seat. This is quite a high back support seat, and you can see from the shape of it there, it's sort of a wider area going to a narrower section at the top. It's actually a really comfortable seat for paddling in. As you're paddling, that sort of thinner section at the back doesn't hinder that you're sort of rolling and motion as you're paddling and sort of twisting with the paddle stroke. Yeah, it's actually a really comfortable seat to paddle in, and a nice sort of padded base there as well. A lot of people don't like the idea of a clipping seat. Lots of people are fixated with the idea of a raised frame seat, but using that type of seat in this kayak would completely take away from the whole idea of this being a great paddling kayak for out there on the coast. The higher you raise your center of gravity with these framed seats, the less stable you'll feel and the less efficiently you can paddle the kayak. Having a low center of gravity really allows you to dig in and get the most out of each paddle stroke and really propel this awesome hull design through the water so you can cope with those choppier, more challenging coastal conditions. So yeah, the seat pan itself, it's contoured to allow its lowest position right at the back of the seat well. You can sort of see it raises up towards the front and then dips away again into the footwells. And it just feels really comfortable when you're sat in it. It just puts you in a really sort of natural an efficient position for paddling, so you can get the most out of this hull design. Yeah, it's just a simple clip-in seat, clips to some pad eyes just in front and just behind there. But yeah, nice rigid back plastic section, so it doesn't go folding as you're sitting in there. It stays really rigid and firm. You can see that there. It's not wanting to slip or slide around. So yeah, comes with a nice decent seating system. Just beside the seat, we've got a paddle holder here, simple bungee paddle park there. It just goes around a little hook. So you can put your paddle shaft in there, stow your paddle whilst you're fishing. Just behind the seat, we've got another couple of flush mount rod holders there. Great for storing your fishing rods whilst you're paddling, perhaps out to your mark. Or you could have your rods in there whilst you're trolling lures behind the kayak as well. And yeah, behind the seat, we've got a massive rear storage area. And just behind the seat, there's sort of a separated section with a bit of bungee. You can easily store a tackle box or two in there. The likes of the Plano tackle boxes will just fit there. So you can easily reach around your seat, grab your tackle box and pull it out. But yeah, as standard, a lot of people like to put a fishing crate in the back of their kayak. And yeah, we've designed this tank well to fit all the popular crate systems. So the Yak Attack 13x13 and 13x16 Black Pack Pros will fit in here no problem. The Hobie H Crate and H Crate Junior will both fit in here no problem, as well as the Railblazer Gear Hub and other similar crate systems will fit in here too. So yeah, maximise the crate storage area at the back of this kayak. And yeah, it's in the base of the tank well. We've got a track here. It could be used for accessory mounting or for adding some tie down points for crates. It also helps stiffen up this area too, making it a nice sturdy platform to load your gear into. A couple of scupper holes here. It's fairly deep tank well, so you can securely mount your crate in there. And yeah, crisscross bungees as standard, so you can secure down your gear. We'll use this to lash down your crate. There's a number of accessory hooks here, so you can unclip this and use those hooks to attach to your crate or your gear bag to help it stay tethered down to the kayak. And they run between sections of slide track here again. And yeah, you can use those tracks again for accessory mounting. You can easily put a camera boom here so you can capture all the action going on up front there. But yeah, more accessory tracks. Just beside the kayak as well, I'll just point out these lines here. So these are deck lines, and they run across this section here. There's also more at the front, and they provide a grab point. Should you end up in the water, should you come out of this kayak and you need to grab this kayak quickly, you can easily slip your hand in behind this cord and keep a hold of the kayak. So they're sort of safety lines, safety deck lines. Also quite handy for clipping leashes and other stuff too as well. But yeah, they're fitted as standard on the Hydra 130. The back of the tank well, we've got here a screw hatch. It's just a simple screw hatch, opens up, and inside we've got another storage bag here, hatch bag. Again, that can be pulled out to allow you to access the inside of the hull. Quite handy if you need to fit accessories at the back of this kayak. You can reach in and do up nuts and bolts from the inside of the kayak. Yeah, just a simple screw hatch there. You can do that up nice and tight to create a good seal there on the hatch. So at the stern we also have another grab handle here, another one of the Phantom grip handles. Again, a good sturdy grab point with a recess below it so you can get your hand in there easily. Another couple of short sections of slide track. Really handy for putting a visibility flag or an all-round navigation light at the very stern of the kayak, and that's a great position to have a nice tall flag pole or a light pole up high so other water users can see you. But yeah, nice to have that right at the stern there. Nice easy way to add that to your kayak. And yeah, you can see there that rudder system we spoke about. You can also see at the very base of the keel at the back of the kayak, a skid plate. That's a removable skid plate. It's a sacrificial wear point. When you drag your kayak out of the water, you often pivot it right at the stern here and drag it out. Well, this section can take a fair amount of wear. So yeah, if you're dragging it out on a slipway or a rocky shoreline, eventually you can go scraping away the area a fair bit over time, but having a replaceable skid plate allows you to do that without worry, because should you wear this section away, well, you can just get a replacement, bolt it on, and you're good to go again. So yeah, there's the stern of the Hydra, nice sharp shape again. You can just see that there, nice defined keel at the back there. Again, that really aids with it holding its sort of course as you're paddling along. This sort of resists moving off its course, helps you track in a straight line. Yeah, Vibe Hydra 130. Let's flip it over, take a look at the underside. We can really have a look at the whole shape, what makes it perform really well and have that sweet combination of performance and good amount of stability for coping with coastal waters. So here's the underside of the Hydra 130. You can see that beautifully sharp and sleek bow with that pronounced bow flare, which is going to help it cope in those choppier coastal waters. If we look down the very front of the kayak, you can see what's known as a classic triform hull design. We've got a nice central keel bulge there right in the middle, running the full length of the kayak, running to some flatter areas on the side. So that central keel bulge there helps the kayak run in a nice straight true line, helps it maintain its speed as you're powering through the water. And those flatter areas on the side, they help resist the kayak trying to roll over, so it provides that nice amount of comfortable stability even in choppier coastal waters. So yeah, great combination of sort of design features there that allows us to perform really well out in a dynamic coastal environment. But yeah, if we just run back along this hull, we can see it's beautifully smooth. Got some tracking channels that run either side of that keel in the middle. They help stiffen up the hull and will help it track straighter as well. You see here the transducer cavity. It's behind this black protective shield here. So this is a perforated shield. If you're installing your transducer behind there, it will help protect it. If you take this off just using those screws there, it reveals the cavity. With that scupper hole that runs to the top surface of the kayak to run your wiring up through. There's also a couple of brass inserts in there that take an M5 screw. They allow you to bolt on the transom mounts from the likes of Lowrance and Garmin. However, it depends what transducer you're using as to whether you can fit the shield back on top or not. Some of the bigger transducers sit a little higher, and they'll still sit within the sort of confines of the keel, but yeah, it depends on the transducer as to whether you can use those screws or whether you need to, or what I like to do is put my transducer against this black plate and cable tie it directly to the plate. You know, it's perforated, you can easily run cable tie, secure your transducer to the back of this plate, and the transducer will shoot through it just fine. That works great for down scan and standard sonar. If you're using side scan transducers, you do need to leave this plate off so that the transducer can sit sort of flush with the keel so it can shoot out sonar either side. But yeah, allows you to easily install a transducer to the Hydra 130, gives you options there. But yeah, let's just run further back on this kayak. See these flatter areas, they run just sort of gently curve round to relatively steep sides on the Hydra. And yeah, we come to the back where that sort of quite pronounced keel is at the stern. Again, aids with this kayak maintaining its straight line to allow you to power on and power through the conditions out there on the salty stuff. So yeah, there we go. Vibe Hydra 130, the underhull. Great design for coping with the dynamic coastal environment. So there we go, that's the Vibe Hydra 130. It's a really cool fishing kayak, and if you're looking to get a fishing kayak for paddling out there on the coast, Hydra 130, it's going to tick the boxes for you. It's got a fantastic hull design that's going to cope well in the typical coastal waters, and it's rigged up with a number of features to make it super easy to accessorize and add stuff to make it a really capable fishing kayak. Be sure to check out my next video because I run through how I've rigged up a Hydra 130 for my own fishing. And if you want to get your hands on one, be sure to contact your local Vibe Kayaks dealer. If you're here in the UK, that's the Canoe Shop's group of stores, such as Cornwall Canoes, where I am today. So be sure to get in touch. We can sort you out with a Hydra 130, get it rigged up so you can make the most of your time out there catching fish. So I hope you found that video useful, guys. Any questions, pop them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. Be sure to hit like and subscribe on my channel. If you get your hands on a Hydra 130, be sure to let me know how you get on with it. I'll be really interested to know. Okay, we'll see you next time.